Good morning guys, how you all doing? Al Stevo here. Hope you're all having a lovely morning. As you can see, it's a lovely sunny day here in England. About 10:30 in the morning, so not massively early, but it's pretty early for me. I've been up for a while, got the girls off to school, but more importantly, just watched the latest episode of This Is Us. Got my coffee, as always. My cat's squawking around behind me, as you can see. Now, obviously, if you watched my review last week, I rated the pilot very, very highly. And Dan Fogelman absolutely hit it out of the park with episode 2. I asked you guys last week, basically a bit of a metaphorical question, is it possible for a pilot to be too good? And after seeing this in the preview for episode 3, I can unequivocally say absolutely no, a pilot cannot be too good. Episode 2 was fantastic. Little bit of a twist at the end again, but not the expected twist that I thought, but we'll get into it and I'll tell you what I think. It was another beautiful episode. It was so poignant to me. It meant a lot to me because a lot of the issues in this show are very personal to me, especially with Randall's father, William, played by Ralph Cephas Jones. He's in season 1 of Mr. Robot. He's a former addict, and they kind of were setting it up that he was going to still be an addict and be a bit of a liar, but they pulled that one out of the bag, and it turns out he was looking after a cat the whole time, and he didn't want to let down Beth, who's played by Susan Kelke Watson, and he didn't want to let down Randall, played by Sterling K. Brown, because their youngest daughter has asthma, and he didn't want to bring the cat to their house and upset the asthma. So it turned out he's a good guy. And I'm glad that, obviously this sounds really bad, but I'm glad that his cancer is real, and I'm glad that it is going to be a redemption arc for him, because obviously he let his son down by leaving him on the porch of a fire station, but in his last few months he really wants to be there for his son with his second chance, which he really didn't get to do. And this resonates massively with me. I've had problems in the past with addiction and alcohol abuse and other forms of addiction, and I know what it means to be given a second chance in life, and I've been given that, and obviously he's not long for the world, but I hope this arc of redemption continues, because it is one of my favourite arcs in the show. It really resonates with me, and it had me on the verge of tears at times. It resonated that much. Obviously the other arc that we've got in the present day is still mixing the past and the present. The past was set 8 years later this week, and it was again beautifully done. We started off breakfast with Jack and Rebecca and the big three, as Jack likes to call them. Milo Ventimiglia again playing a brilliant part this week. Mandy Moore absolutely hit it out of the park this week. When she was sat talking to Jack, and she was telling him what she thought their parents' score was, that for me that was one of the best parts of the show. Her monologue when she was telling him he needs to shape up or ship out, ditch the drink, be a man. He can be a 10 as a parent, but he's lowering their score to a 6 because he's always drinking, he's never there. But when he is there, he's fantastic. And she basically tells him, shape up or ship out, because you're the one lowering our parents' score. Before this, we see Jack in the bar with his partner Miguel, who's played by John Huertas. Jack's on his third bourbon, it's 3:05 in the evening, and Miguel basically turns around and says to him, look dude, you've got a really fit wife, she's beautiful, she does everything, she's got 3 kids, and you're sat here in the bar drinking bourbon, you need to shape up. So basically Jack gets told to shape up or ship out twice in the space of a few hours. Jack goes home, he buys Rebecca a lovely gift, but she gives him the monologue. We then cut to Miguel, and Miguel's at home, and he rings Jack's office phone and apologises and tells him he overstepped the mark. He said that he's jealous because obviously Rebecca's lovely and he's got an amazing family, and we see that scene, and then we see a scene the next morning with Jack asleep outside of Jack and Rebecca's bedroom, and Rebecca comes out, they talk, and Jack says, I'm going to quit drinking, I'm going to man up, I'm going to be the husband and father that I should be and you will need me to be. So they make up, but then he's going to get to the office and receive this phone call from Miguel, and we're not sure what happens, because that kind of leads to the twist. At Randall and Beth's house, William's sat with the grandchildren, and there's a knock at the door. The kids run to the door and answer it, and they shout, "It's Grandma and Grandpa!" And Randall looks at Beth. William slinks off to his room. Obviously, that's going to be an awkward as hell situation for him. And we cut to the doorstep, and who stood at the door? We've got Rebecca stood there with the necklace that Jack gave her in the apologising scene I just mentioned. And who stood next to her? Miguel, Jack's former partner. So this is the twist right at the end. I mean, what's happened is Jack died. Did he not overcome his problems? Has Miguel come between them and stole his wife? This sets us up beautifully for next week's episode, I think. It's the way it's done. The blend. I said this last week. The blending of the past and the present is seamless. It's cinematically shot. It's absolutely beautiful, and the way that was done was amazing. It fitted in perfectly with William's storyline. Ron Cephas Jones has done that brilliantly. Sterling K. Brown, brilliantly. Kate and Kevin, the twins. Now, obviously, Kevin, in the 8 years previous, Kevin was a bit of a git, bit of a bastard to his brother Randall. Randall was being called Webster at school. Obviously, a lot of racism back in them days, and he really wasn't a good brother to him. Kate, you see her starting to have issues with her weight when she was very young. In the present day, Kate still having issues with her weight. She's at a weight loss group with her boyfriend. She completely flips out and starts having a go at people. But Kevin, obviously after his outburst on the Mr. Manny set last week, he goes to see his bosses, his agent for a start, and tells them he doesn't want to do the job anymore. His agent says he has to attend a Hollywood party to beg for his job. Obviously Kevin doesn't want to do this. Who would want to be Mr. Manny? I know I wouldn't. Obviously, it's not a great show. It's a bit of a joke. Excuse me. But Kevin, he invites Kate along to this party, and they go. Kate gets very, very drunk, but she's really struggling with her weight issues, bless her, and her boyfriend tells her that, asks her if they can have a night without the weight, and obviously they have a lot of tequila, and at the start she's really embarrassed, but then she opens up. But towards the end, the tequila wears off, and she's struggling with her weight, bless her, and it's an issue that a lot of people have. Weight. I'm not the skinniest person, but that's something I can deal with. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I've got a beautiful family, so who don't care what I look like. But weight issue is a big thing for a lot of people, and I think it's great that they're covering that. Chrissy Metz has got absolute balls to play that part, I think. Hello, darling. Absolute balls. And she plays it brilliantly. The bond between Kate and Kevin is there for all to see. I just think their bond is amazing. Kevin, in the end, quits the show, tells him to do it, even though they're going to completely nuke his career. He says he's going to move to New York and do theatre. Now, in this swimming pool scene, Kevin rings up Randall because Kate's too busy dancing, and they have a phone call, and like I said, it turns out that Kevin wasn't the best brother to Randall. But Randall is Mr. Perfect, and he plays Mr. Perfect brilliantly. He gives him a pep talk, and he says, "Our parents didn't raise no whores," and this gives Kevin the balls to go and tell the network to stick it. So their bond, the three of them, their bond is unbreakable by the looks of it. The relationships in this show are still perfect. Obviously, Beth questioned William about what he's been doing and why he's been borrowing money, but it turned out good. I've mentioned that arc. Overall, this show this week, it just got better. I can't believe it. I can believe it after the pilot, actually. I'm really, really looking forward to episode 3. In fact, I'm looking forward to the whole season of this now, guys. This is turning out to be one of the better shows that I've watched. You can't judge a show on 2 episodes, but Dan Fogelman, you've absolutely smashed this, mate. This is a fantastic show. All the actors and actresses look really involved. The feel of the show, the feel of the relationships is bang on. The way Kate deals with her weight issues is bang on. the way they've dealing with someone with cancer and addiction issues in both the past and the present, alcohol and drugs, the way that they're dealing with all these issues but still getting on with life, but yet it still feels like that's that little bit missing. Everything about this show is just amazing. I really, really love this show, guys. Obviously I'm going to continue to review it. I might even do a video on the addiction side of things, with the alcohol and the drugs and stuff, because that's something very personal to myself. But for now, I'm just going to leave you with this, guys. This is an amazing show. I hope you'll continue to watch. I hope you'll continue to watch my reviews, and I'll see you next week. Bring on episode 3, guys. Peace.